Hey everyone, it's Jenny Dietrich back with another Spin Sucks Inquisition. And today my guest is somebody that I know very, very well because I have been co-hosting Inside PR with him for, 7 years, 6 years, a long time. But I'm very excited to introduce him to you. Some of you may already know him. Some of you may already recognize his voice. But please, sir, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, Ginny D. I'm Joe Thornley, and I'm the CEO of Thornley Follis Communications, and I am your co-host on Inside PR.
Yes, you are indeed. You also run one of the best agencies in Canada, in my opinion. And I saw today that it's National Book Lover Day, and you guys were highlighting somebody who's famous on your team.
We were highlighting Terry Follis.
Yes, he has lots of great books. How many books does he have?
He has 5, and the 6th has gone to the publisher just 2 weeks ago. And I may have just miscounted, but I think he's got 5.
I think you're right. I think that's how many I saw. I think you're right. Yeah. So, Joe, tell us, what is the biggest mistake you've made in the last 6 months?
Well, the biggest mistake, I saw that you were going to ask me that. I'll be really honest. The biggest mistake I've made was driving home with my wife in the car in traffic. And I had an OC Transpo bus at a corner take the turn really wide. And my car was a couple feet, maybe a foot, beyond the white line where it should have been. And the OC bus driver pulled right in front of me and looked down at me and started to nudge forward. And I started to back up, and the guy behind me was backing up. And, he was intimidating me. So here's the mistake. I had my sunroof open, and I gave the bus driver the finger. I feel terrible. I don't do that.
You don't do that. That's not something you do.
And he spit on me.
Oh, no.
So I got my immediate comeuppance. And that made me, both humiliated me, and it made me mindful that what a dumbass move it is ever to give vent to the way that you feel at any particular stage. Biggest mistake.
You too.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought your biggest mistake was going to be shaving one of your eyebrows off.
Yes, well, thank you for telling that. So, for people, when I was young, used to have a beard. I got married 32 years ago, and my wife didn't like beards. And maybe it was a question of comfort. I'm not sure. Somewhere around Easter this year, a couple weekends went. The first weekend, I just didn't feel like shaving for a couple days, and then I shaved. And then the second weekend, I didn't feel like shaving. Then I said, I'm going to grow it, and she let me grow it. So not having had a beard for 32 years, I had to go out and buy a new beard trimmer.
Sure.
And beard trimmers aren't what they were when I was a young man. So I bought the beard trimmer, and I started to trim, and I was adjusting that, and Cynthia kept on saying, I like it shorter, and I like it longer. But along the way, when you get older, you get those bushy Donald Trump kind of eyebrows that arch up. And I decided, I can get rid of that. I can just trim my eyebrow the same length as my beard. Only my thumb hit the control, and indeed, when I looked, I'd just taken my right eyebrow off, and I had to do a client pitch 48 hours later. So, indeed, Cynthia showed me what is it called? Eyebrow liner.
Yeah,
actually is, and thank God I made it through the pitch. They were about 15 feet away across the room, and nobody actually noticed that I really was there, one eyebrow short.
Well, in fairness, you did say to me, hey, and you put your finger up to the camera and you said, can you notice it? Have you noticed anything that's changed? And I was like, no. So the eyebrow pencil worked really well.
Yeah, well, yeah. That was a mistake.
Stories. I love that story. What trend are you really excited about right now?
The trend that I'm really excited about is the growing use of online fora for public engagement. It was citizen engagement.
Yep.
I thought that was marketing is great. It's nice to move products, but I won't on my deathbed say I wish I would have moved another product, but I will say I wish I would have made a greater contribution to society and my family and all that sort of thing. And we had an arc where the optimism peaked with the election of President Obama. And then I think that we had that period of disillusionment when the Obama people came to power. And as happens with any new administration, things couldn't be delivered exactly as promised. And right away, there were a bunch of people who got on it and said, well, it was a pipe dream. It wasn't a pipe dream. It was just that the short-term ambitions were a bit high. And I think what's happened now is that we're coming up the other side. We have bandwidth. We have people on Facebook. We have people who are connecting online in a meaningful way. It's not new. It's not novel. It goes through all sectors of society, not all income groups, unfortunately, but age is not a problem. Gender is not a problem. I think that we're seeing a real renaissance of that this year. It'll be interesting. I think that the spot that's seeing the least of it right now, because you're in your presidential and congressional election cycle, is the United States. But it's happening elsewhere, and it'll be interesting to see if the election turns out the right way, how things actually develop in the U.S. over the next 12 months.
We are very interested as well. Besides a missing eyebrow, what is one thing that would surprise most people about you?
Well, I probably alluded to it a bit, but they would probably be surprised if they know me now to know that at one time I was heavily involved in politics.
Right.
Because I never talk about it now.
Yep.
But when I was a young man, I was a true believer. I was the president of the Young Liberals of Canada and the secretary-treasurer of the Liberal Party of Canada. And I wore my partisan stripes proudly and went into many battles, which I try not to do now. So anybody who's met me in the last 10 years wouldn't see that side of me, because at a certain point, I just went cold turkey and left all of that. But I think that would probably surprise most people who know me now.
Well, and your wife is in governmental work.
She is. So
you can imagine if the four of us go to dinner, how left out I feel.
Well, you shouldn't. Because my wife, in the federal government in Canada, I think it's a 30-year and out rule, which she's taking advantage of. And
she is. Wow.
She's on her second last day of work. And
she is?
Yeah, and then we'll have to redefine ourselves. So if it turns out that she divorces me in 2 months, don't be surprised, because she may find herself now with enough time to focus on how she married down.
How she has to help you fill in your eyebrow. What is the best book you've read in the last 6 months? So I have to say Terry Follis's Poles Apart. Yeah, I will have to read it.
It was great.
Was it?
And it was funny. And Terry is a true feminist, and he's the classic feminist. And so he wrote this book that gets you smiling about this feminist who lives on top of a strip bar in, I think it was Miami or somewhere in Florida, and it goes from there. But yeah, I like that. I think there are two books that have had a real impact on me in the last 6 months. One that you, Martin, and I have talked about extensively, and that's Cal Newport's Deep Work.
Right.
Like a lot of people in our business, I really suffer from the fear of missing out, the urge to connect. And Newport has written a book. No book is perfect. I mean, there are some wrong things that he says, but there's a lot that's there that just brings me back to a point where when I get on an airplane and I don't try and connect to the Wi-Fi, but I treasure that time where I can actually read a whole chapter of a book. I recognize That's when good thinking goes on. So that's important. The other one is Douglas Rushkoff throwing rocks at the Google bus. And, I think that there is a growing realization that we have become too slavish to the Silicon Valley venture capitalist truisms, that it's all about growing your business and exiting your business.
Yep.
Business. And that a lot of people have pointed out, and Rushkoff has put forward some very, very articulate arguments that not every business needs to keep on growing, that businesses can provide a great living for people, that they can create something meaningful, and that there's a different value set than that which we see glorified every day when a Facebook becomes a unicorn, when all other companies become unicorns. So that's the other really important book in the last 6 months that I've read.
It's funny you say that, because I had a conversation with a man last week who's considering investing in a friend's company, and he was doing his due diligence, and so he wanted to ask me some questions about the platform, the software, and all those kinds of things. And one of the things he said to me that he really liked about her is that he's a mentor in one of the startup communities, the hibernation kind of community. And he said, I'm so tired of these 22-year-olds that have these great ideas, and they're going to become the next Facebook or the next Snapchat or whatever it happens to be, and they don't understand a profit and loss statement, and they don't understand how to make money. And it may be a great idea, but they don't know how to run a business. And he said, what I really appreciate about this woman is she has experience in the PR industry. She did that for 20 years before she created this software. And because of that, it's made exactly what you said. It's going to create a company that can grow and scale, and may very well, bring something back significant to investors, but it doesn't necessarily have to IPO in order for an investor to get their money back out. Yeah.
I think we need to, in the same way as we look at artisan goods, artisan bakeries, I won't go quite as far as butcher your own meat, but as we look at those kinds of things, I think we need to celebrate the businesses that aren't aiming for the exit, that aren't aiming for the IPO, the businesses that are aiming for success and to do something good over a period of time. And I see a growing trend towards that. And I think, the kind of people, I've met some really smart people in the Valley, and people who are decades younger than me. And I think it's great to be on that journey. But very few people actually get that end to it. And they're going to need to find another source of meaning, and building something to last, to paraphrase the title of a book from 20 years ago, Built to Last. There you have it.
Built to Sell is what I have.
Okay, and Built to Last was...
Built to Last was the one before.
And there is a dignity in that, and there is something good in that. So I think both can coexist, but we shouldn't ever undersell the importance of people who build something to last.
Totally agree. My last question for you before we do the 5-second rule is, what are you binging on right now?
Star Trek.
Oh, that's right. I knew that.
Absolutely. I'm in Canada.
You and my brother both did that.
I'm in Canada, and our selection on Netflix is not as full as yours. And Star Trek, The Next Generation, all 174 episodes, it was there for a while, and then it went away. When I was halfway through season 6, it came back, and I was able to finish it. So I've finished. It took me the better part of 2 years, all 174 episodes, and now I'm working my way through the very first series, and I'm going to go all the way through them.
And are you doing all the movies as well, or are you just doing this?
I'll do the movies chronologically when I hit those years.
Got it. Wow. Yeah, my little brother did the same thing. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, here we have Laura. Have you guys met?
Hello.
Hi, Laura. How are you today?
Have you guys met before?
We have virtually.
Virtually, okay. Laura, Joe, Laura.
Hey.
Hi, Joe. How are you? You've got quite a view over there. I'm very jealous of your big window.
Yes, well, that one looks out on a bank building. Uh, and also, well, I say a bank building. The bank logo is there, but it's the Federal Court of Canada. If I ever want to know whether or not a CRTC decision is being appealed, I can look over there, take my binoculars out, and they aren't facing my window.
Love it.
That's very strategic. Well done. That's exciting.
That's some citizen journalism at its best, right there.
That is. You were just really right in the thick of it there. I mean, that has to be a daily, kind of a daily living on the edge.
Well, Ottawa is not like
movie. Yeah.
Well, Ottawa is not like Washington. We have about 5 square blocks.
It's true.
That's about it.
It's about it.
Everything's in a small
That is
area.
very true. Very true.
As much like Portland, so I understand. I feel, but we don't have buildings that big.
I think Portland's way bigger than Ottawa.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. We're big time, Joe.
I mean, 5 square blocks is not exaggerating.
We're about 3 miles, so we might be.
You're bigger.
Yep.
We're big time. All right, Joe. Are you prepared for 5-second rule?
I am.
Good. But
I'm not.
While he's like,
Am I supposed to know what the topics are before?
No.
Okay, good. All right.
All right.
And I'm prepared.
yeah, I have no idea either. So
You came very well prepared.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Jenny. Let us begin with you, my friend. Would you please name 3 of Michael Jackson's siblings?
Janet. Shoot. Jackson 5. What are their names? I don't know.
I actually don't
Jermaine.
know. Jermaine is one, yeah.
I don't know. That's bad.
It is bad. I don't know either. Joe, do you know?
Tito.
Tito. Yes.
Tito. Oh.
That's the only one I know. There was another sister, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Latoya. Well done.
Well, look at us. We can come up with them.
As a team effort, we know the Jackson 5.
We know the Jackson 5. Look at us.
Collectively. Okay, Joe. Would you please name 3 musicians with the first name of Billy?
Holiday. Crudup. Well, no, he's an actor, but he did play a musician in Almost Famous. And Idol.
Very good. Billie Holiday was a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. That's impressive. Those are hard.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah. Okay. Ginny, would you please name 3 world leaders who were assassinated?
JFK. Does Malcolm X count, or is that he's not a world leader?
I'd count it.
And John Lennon.
Good.
Sort of. I know he's not a world leader.
World figure. To world figure.
Global figure. Someone people would know.
Yeah.
Thank you for changing the question
No
for
problem.
my answers. Thanks.
We like to morph it here to help out our guests. It's a sliding scale question, really.
Right. Yeah, we're grading on the curve right now.
Yeah. Choose your own adventure. Okay. Joe, would you please name 3 pro sports teams who are named after animals?
The Lions, the Tigers, and the Cubs.
Good.
If you did the Bears, we'd be in the Wizard of Oz.
I know, that's what I was expecting.
Now, don't ask me what city they're all in, but
Detroit. What did you say? Lions,
Detroit, in
Detroit,
Chicago.
Detroit, in Chicago.
Yeah.
that's great because you asked a total non-sports fan a sports question. But you just pick a common name, and there's bound to be a team.
Right. There's bound to be a team. I mean, have you ever seen some of those like mascot shows that they have all the mascots? There's like 80 tigers there. So, I mean, you're really pretty good to go as long as you...
Is this what you do in your free time? Watch mascot shows? Scares me.
Portland.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Bingo. Okay. Ginny, would you please name 3 famous people who have had plastic surgery?
Well, I just saw a movie with Holly Hunter in it, and I wonder if she has, because she looks like she has. Does saying my grandmother count?
Yes. But we won't tell anyone that. We'll just keep that.
And Joan Rivers, even though I ran out of time.
I
don't know if Holly Hunter has, but she looks like she has.
Really?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson would be another one. Back to the Jackson.
Yeah, true.
Cher.
Although he said he didn't. Yeah, Cher.
Yeah.
And then at least it turned out good for those people, not Michael Jackson.
Did not turn out well for Michael Jackson at all.
No.
The people who have plastic surgery and you have to wonder whether they had it, they're the lucky ones.
Yeah,
They're
right.
the ones
That's good
really
plastic surgery.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Joe, would you please name 3 things you see at the beach?
Sand, ocean, sky.
You're a simple man, Joe, and I appreciate that.
I also haven't been to the beach all year. So
he's assuming.
Remember where I live.
He's assuming that's what you see at the beach.
Yeah.
It's every painting you've ever seen. Yes.
Correct.
Okay, Ginny, would you please name 3 sports that are not in the Olympics but should be?
Oh, for heaven's sakes, why do you do this to me? Shuffleboard, ping pong, and
Badminton.
poker.
There's a sport.
Good. Yeah. You know what I was reading the other day? That in the original Olympics, they used to have like Olympic, not sports, but competitions for like art and writing and like more creative.
Yeah, they should have writing Olympics. That's awesome.
Right.
We could submit all sorts of stuff from Spin Sucks for that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, we would be amazing. Our team. And we could get like jumpsuits.
Ask Joe's question next.
We could get USA jumpsuits. Joe, we'd get a Canada one for you.
Hey, Leslie Jones, props for her. And
Right?
Winter Storm.
Yeah.
All right. That's the best thing about this Olympics. I'm totally tuned out on the Olympics, but I really liked what she was doing.
I totally agree.
Totally agree. Okay. Joe, sticking on the Olympic theme, would you please name 3 Olympic sports you would like to compete in?
Rowing, swimming, soccer.
Nice.
Wow, very good. All team sports too. So that's
right,
you, Joe. What
because you can't necessarily identify the weaker link.
Or there's that. Yeah.
There is that, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right, last round. Ginny, would you please name 3 famous animals?
As in like mascot animals or as in just like general animals?
The lion, the tiger, and the cub.
Okay, then general animals, not mascots.
Oh, not okay. Koalas, kangaroos, and leopards.
I don't know, I meant like Flipper or Shamu.
Oh, okay, got it. Flipper, Shamu, and
koalas, kangaroos, and leopards.
You said animals. Koalas are very, very
animals.
famous. Clydesdale, the Budweiser Clydesdale horses, Spot the Target dog, and the puppet from Pet.com in the 90s.
Well done. Very well done.
You could have said, oh no, Nemo's not an animal, is he? Bambi?
Oh,
Bambi's an
Bambi
animal.
would have worked. Nemo.
Old Yeller?
Yeller.
Lassie.
That's a good one.
There you go.
That was the theme song. Obviously,
Animals who died at the end of their shows.
Oh, geez. Let's not let Joe write the question.
No,
I went to see Old Yeller when I was young. And
no. Were you traumatized?
I was traumatized.
I bet.
Absolutely.
I know. All right. Well, on that note, Joe, if you were on a synchronized swimming team, who would you name 3 people you'd want on your team?
Laura Petrolino, Ginny Dietrich, and Martin Wax.
Martin Waxman, I knew that was coming.
Good choices.
Absolutely.
My inside PR co-host,
Synchronized.
Laura.
Now there's a sport that's not a sport, is it?
It is.
Sorry.
It takes
Are you a synchronized
coordination
swimmer?
and yeah.
I think synchronized swimming is one of the reasons I don't bother to watch the Olympics because I just don't get it. And as far as synchronized swimming is concerned, I saw a repeat somebody put on their Facebook feed the other day of the great Saturday Night Live sketch with Martin Short. The synchronized,
Yes.
the men's synchronized swimmers.
Nice swimmers, yes.
Yeah. You'd have to go and search that out. Martin Short, Saturday Night Live, synchronized swimming.
Well, sir, thank you for playing. Would you please tell people where they can find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter at Thornley, and I'm either at Thornley or Joseph Thornley everywhere else.
And I will link to all of it in the blog post. Thank you for being here. Awesome to see you. And thank you for spending the last hour and a half with me today.
Yes, we didn't tell people that we just finished recording this week's IPR.
We did do Inside PR, so we did a double header. So
yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of Ginny in one city.
It's been good. And now I have to run to the bathroom.
I do too. All right, Joe, thank you.
Okay, bye.